Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So as you can see from the title, today I am back for this week's video. I'm going to be filming both of these next videos that I'm going to be putting out, posting in the same day, just because my week schedules right now have been a bit, so I won't really have much time to film again because I need to also film another video that I need to do, and it's just a lot for me to conceptualize and actually carry out. Milo. Stop. Sorry, that was my cat. But yeah, I want to dedicate the weekend to filming my next video, which is going to be my Bridgerton review, because the next bits are coming out tomorrow, I think. But today I'm going to be filming both of my Love is Blind reviews, and then the last one, which will be the 2 episodes that have come out today because it's Wednesday when I'm filming this, and then the wedding episode. I would prefer to do those all in one video. I don't see the point of reviewing 2 episodes, so I'm only gonna do that once the wedding episodes have come out. Then I'll just do one final review for this, and then obviously I'll review the reunion once that is out too. I want to get into it. So this first video will be me reviewing episodes 1 to 6, I think. Yeah, 1 to 6. So we're going to be talking about Love is Blind season 10. First off, can I just say this season is like really irking me. First of all, just the contestants that are on, like the caliber in which of people come on this show, like there's just been such a huge fall from grace. Like I can't believe this was the same show that Lauren and Cameron once went on. Like it's just so bad, especially like on the men's side as well. Like their personalities, like it's just really, it's really bad, like really bad. So just know that in these reviews I basically don't like anyone from this cast except for Jessica and maybe, who is that other blonde woman, the one with the child? She seems to be cool, but Jessica literally is the only person that I actually like or like respect from this cast. The rest pretty annoying to me. Also the fact that basically everyone here is like some sort of Trump supporter, like MAGA. Like for context, ignore my cat in the background. For context, this review, I literally took the notes right as I was watching the show, same as I did it last year. So the notes that I have here are literally just based in the order of the episodes. So I'm not really going to be doing like some sort of breakdown of like each scene and everything. I'm just going to be giving like my notes on what I was witnessing. First off, I want to talk about Ashley and Alex because their conversations in the pods, I'm just gonna be honest, I was really struggling to see what sort of like insane chemistry that these two had. I'm gonna be honest, like out of all the couples, I think the only ones that I felt there was a sense of chemistry or like there was actually a bond being created was Jessica and Chris, which considering how they end up is very disappointing, but whatever. I just didn't feel like this super strong emotional connection between the two of them. Maybe it's also just because I don't really like Alex, like I'm not warmed up to him. Not that I really like Ashley either, but like Alex just isn't likable to me, like at all. And I noticed the fact that they were talking about sex pretty early on, and I just thought it was kind of like, I don't know, because this whole, like the whole point of Love is Blind is the fact that you're doing this like sight unseen. You're not supposed to know what the other person looks like. You're not really supposed to be having conversations about like your physical, the physical really, to be honest. Not that you can't mention sex, but if that's like the meat and potatoes of your relationship conversations, then maybe we need to reevaluate it. Like I don't know, I just didn't see much of them actually bonding. It just gave that they were both like horny and imagining how attractive the other person is going to be. Isn't the point of this event supposed to be marriage? Which is why it doesn't shock me the direction in which their relationship goes on earlier in the show, later in the show, sorry, because where was the substance? And I also noticed because Ashley pointed out the fact that her dad said that she has a bad picker, or she tends to not pick very good men. And I just thought that was interesting because I feel like that pattern is still being repeated with this Alex guy. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm just not seeing any sort of like discernment here really. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just because there wasn't anyone else who was really piquing her interest, but I still don't think that's a reason to proceed all the way to getting engaged just because this is the only person that you slightly vibe with. Like, I don't know. Next thing that I wanted to point out, first off, let's talk about Emma real quick as well, because Emma as a person within this process, I think that there's a lot to be said about her. First off, I feel like she has a lot of issues. She kind of has an identity crisis as well. That's just my personal opinion. Again, I'm not a mental health professional or psychologist or anything like that, so I could be talking out of my ass, but I just personally feel like she has quite a few issues that she needs to work through. I don't think she should be on this show. She needs therapy, if I'm going to be honest. She was explaining that one of her reasons for why she doesn't want children in the show is because of the fact that she doesn't really know her genetic history, in terms of like, she doesn't know who her birth parents is, because she was an orphan and then she got adopted by a white family, and she doesn't know what conditions her birth parents could possibly have, and she doesn't know if because she has like a birthmark on her arm that she had to have surgery for to remove because it was like pre-cancerous. So she doesn't know if she could pass on this condition onto her potential children. So that's like a huge reservation that she has about having children, which is completely understandable. But when she was explaining this to some of the guys in the pods, I just didn't like their reactions or like their responses to it. I just like, they kept trying to reiterate, oh, I just feel like you would be like a good mum though, like you have a lot of love to give. And that's another thing that really irritates me, like as a woman, when you talk about your skepticism around having kids, if you're not somebody who is sure about that yet, especially me, considering the fact that I'm only 21. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not thinking about having kids like at all. Like, I'm not thinking about having kids. Like, I'm young, I want to enjoy my life. Like, not that you can't enjoy your life if you have children, but I'm just saying, like, that's not on my radar. Like, I'm not even thinking about that. So like, when the idea is brought up and I say, well, I'm not really sure, like the first go-to response that people will tell you as a woman is like, oh, but don't you feel like you'd be a good mother? She never said that she wouldn't be a good mother. Like, I don't think that's her issue at all. She didn't say that at all. What she did say was that she's not sure if that's actually something that she wants for her life though. That it had nothing to do with her capacity in order to be able to love a child, nurture or parent a child. So I just feel like it's weird that that's like the first thing that these guys will go towards to say, oh, but I feel like you'd be a good mother though. I don't think her having kids has anything to do with her abilities as a mother. So I don't know, it's just kind of weird. Maybe they're just trying to sway her into changing her mind, which is also equally as weird reaction to somebody saying that. But yeah, I just don't like her in general. It was pissing me off throughout the show when I was watching it. Now, speaking of Emma, since we're on the topic of her, I want to talk about her getting to know two people in the pods. I think she was getting to know a guy called, what was his name? There were three guys that she was speaking to actually. I think I actually didn't write it down here. Anyways, there were three guys that Emma was getting to know in the pod. She was getting to know Connor, who she had as her number one, Mike, who she had as her number two, and then some other guy who I can't remember what his name is was her third. And she was having a conversation with one of the guys, the third guy, who she wasn't really as interested in as the other two. And they were discussing first times and things like that. Like, he asked her what her first kiss was like. She was kind of blunt with her answer, not really wanting to engage in the conversation really. And then he was kind of trying to like, actually, no, hold on. The context for that actually was the fact that she was talking about, I think she was talking about how her like just trauma in terms of things that she's dealt with in her life and how she's like had to overcome those things, and you know how she struggled with them. And then he kind of wanted to stir the direction in another way to like cheer her up. So he was like, let's talk about our first kisses or anything like that. And I think he said his one was like in middle school or something like that. It was very like cutesy and like innocent and whatever. And then he asked her to say what her first kiss was like. She said, oh yeah, I just kissed some guy, da, da, da. Like, she just wasn't really engaging much with the conversation. And then he was like, okay, what about like your first time? Like, I'll go first. And he was talking about his first time, like how notebook-esque it was and how romantic it was and how we had sex under the lights and the the lights, the night sky and all of that under the stars, which I'm gonna be honest, he's probably lying. So I get why to a certain extent she was like already over the conversation, but I just feel like she could have just said that, because her reaction to it was just weird to me. Like, didn't, unless maybe it's off camera, I'll give her that. Maybe he said something weird that didn't make it into the edit, but her response to it just didn't make sense to me. She kind of just made it seem like, oh, you're like this, yeah, like you're like a shitty person. You're just not really like acknowledging my trauma. I feel like you're trying to, you know, like, I don't even know what her point really was. She was just kind of saying that she felt offended. Not really sure what he did to offend her in particular. I did actually do some like outside research before making this review, and I found out that apparently that third guy had allegations of sexual assault. So I don't know, maybe he was doing some weird things behind the scenes and she found out and she was like, I don't want anything to do with him. But again, I still feel like you could have clearly communicated and just said, you know what, I'm not interested in this anymore. Like, I think we should just end it here and go our separate ways. You could have just said that instead of staying in the pod, making him think that you still want to talk when you literally don't. But that's just my opinion. So now let's get on to her and Mike, because her and Connor didn't really work out because she was already trying to, I don't know, I feel like Emma in general, her approach to this whole thing was very intense, and I feel like with Connor, that's probably what kind of put him off also, or why he decided to pick Brie instead, because she was already like kind of, they were already having conversations. And I remember, because I actually put this in my notes, there was one conversation in the pods that they had where Connor was like, I'm not gonna leave you. And it's just like, I get in this environment things move faster, you build bonds quicker, but realistically, you've known this person for like not even up to a week and you're already telling them, I'm not gonna leave you. I just feel like it's very heavy-handed. Like, I don't know, it just kind of felt like she was already bringing a bunch of emotional baggage, and maybe Connor sensed that and he was like, I think this might be like too heavy for me. I'm not sure if I have the capacity for this, which I completely get. And I actually said it myself, like while watching the show, I was like, if Emma requires this level of reassurance that early on, then that's clearly a issue that is beyond you just having a certain type of love language or attachment style. That's like related to you having deep insecurities that need to be fixed. Because I'm gonna be honest, I feel like Emma has, not only does she have abandonment issues, but I also think that she just lacks self-esteem, obviously because of the condition that she had as a child and how it made her feel insecure. Also how she kind of spoke about, you know, not really feeling chosen by boys growing up. And then also how she felt like she struggled growing up and her family didn't really notice that. So I just feel like in general, there's this thing or this need for her to get external validation. And I feel like trying to search for that in somebody who could be a potential partner within like the first 3 days is just too much. Like, I'm sorry, it's too much. I felt like she then showed this kind of behavior as well, where it's just like this need for validation, like getting this external validation in one of her conversations with Mike, where they were speaking about the idea of having children and whether Mike wants children, to which he said, yeah, I definitely want kids. I can't imagine my life not having kids. And then she was kind of talking about how she's on the fence about it. And I just collected from that conversation that Emma was really overextending herself. Like, she was trying to basically do her best to try and get Mike to feel secure in the situation, even though you guys are fundamentally not aligned, which is a problem that shows up later in the show anyways, because you guys don't want the same things. Like, it's just the truth. This guy, he knows he wants kids for sure. And then she's like, well, I don't know, like I'm kind of on the fence about da da da. And he's saying, I don't want it to be a situation where you have kids just because I want to, and then you end up resenting me and them for that. And it's just like, Emma's trying to say like, no, 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 obviously I wouldn't want that to happen and da da da. It's just like, why are you having to explain your boundaries to this guy? Like, I'm sorry, this doesn't even need to be a conversation. It doesn't need to be a conversation, because if you don't want kids, then you don't want kids, period. Like, that's just it. That's the end of the story. If he wants children and he knows that's what he wants, then he should stand on his principles, his standards, whatever, and he should go look for somebody who wants the same thing. Do you know what I mean? That's why for me personally, whenever I see these situations or like on these shows, it's either for me a situation where you're trying to get more airtime, or you lack the self-esteem to be able to think, do you know what, I actually need to be with somebody who is aligned with me, who is on the same page as me, instead of trying to force it with somebody who it just will not work with. Because when you do that, you are operating from a poverty mindset. You're operating from a poverty and a lack mindset, because there is someone out there who is going to be aligned with you, but you're acting like this person is like, that's it, like that's the final that's the final countdown. Like, if you don't get this one, then it's over. And it's just like, this scarcity mindset is why so many people will end up in situations that they had no business being in. Like Emma, honestly, I feared that she would actually walk down to the aisle, say yes to this guy, knowing that they've had arguments and disagreements over this problem, while he has to be the one to end it and be like, I just don't think we're going to get to that place. And I honestly think that is what's going to happen in the wedding episodes. I've not seen the episodes that have come out today, but I have a feeling that they're going to again clash about this issue. And then Emma's still going to be like, well, you know, at the end of the day, I love you and I choose you and we can work through this. Like, delusions of grandeur, delusions of grandeur. Now let's get into who are the two women again? Kevin, Kia, and Tyler. Now I'm gonna be honest, this Kevin guy really like just pissed me off, and he reminds me a lot of somebody that I once like had some sort of, you know, situation, like romantic kind of situation with, where it's just that he just literally was trying so hard to make both sides, like, he just the both sidesness, and just not being able to actually make a bloody decision. What is it that you actually want? What is it that you actually want out of the situation? Do you even know what you want? One, how is it possible that you feel like both of these women are on this like same level in terms of who you feel you're most compatible with? Like, I'm sorry, at this point in the process, you should know which one is better suited for you and which one who you can actually see a future with. If you're saying you can see a future with both, then I don't know, to me that sounds like you're not serious. Like, that sounds like you're not serious, because I mean, how many more conversations can you have inside the pods and whatever to figure things out? Like, it gets to a point, you know. So Kevin basically made there was a scene where he was having a conversation with Tyler, and Tyler was basically talking about how she's kind of tired of being in this triangle, and how she needs reassurance and, you know, clarity that this situation that she has with Kevin is actually going to go somewhere. Like, you know, he takes her seriously and that he wants to be with her. And she was basically saying that there's no way that I'm gonna say yes to an engagement from somebody who's not even my boyfriend. And basically from that conversation, I wouldn't say that Tyler literally, like, her intention was to pressure Kevin into making him choose her. Basically saying that, I'm fed up of this situation, you can't even make me your girlfriend, you need to like make a decision, you need to pick me or I'm gone. That kind of forced his hand. I mean, at the end of the day, he's a grown man who has free will. So if he doesn't want to, he can say no, right? But you did kind of pressure him into saying that he wants to be with you. And I always say this, these kinds of situations for women is always the worst. The ones where you have to force a man into saying that he likes you, the ones where you have to force a man into wanting you to be his girlfriend. Like all these things where you have to constantly keep teaching a man. I'm sorry, you're too damn grown. You're too grown to be teaching someone how to treat you, and that guy is also too grown to be acting like he doesn't know what how to properly pursue a woman. Like, I'm sorry, it gets to a point. No man is that stupid, and if he is, then he shouldn't even be on the show. Period. After that conversation, Kevin says to Tyler, I'm picking you, I pick Tyler, da da. And then he goes to have a conversation with Kia, and he kind of just centered his speech, which honestly, when I was watching it with my sister, we both thought that he was trying to like let her down easy, which was why we were kind of confused when the conversation ended and it was there, like him and Kia were still kind of like open-ended, because I was like, the way he was talking, it was giving, you're too good for me, like, you know, you just deserve the bet, you deserve the world and you deserve better, and like, you know what I mean, that kind of stuff. After that conversation with Kia, and he kind of tells her, you're so amazing, you're brilliant, you deserve the world, da da da, he fails to mention that he is Tyler's boyfriend now as well. He doesn't say that to her either, which was also shady. He then goes back to the men's headquarters and he basically just frames himself as a victim to the other men, which the other men were also pissing me off, the way that they were trying to like sympathize with him in the situation, when it's like, this man is not this man is not a no damsel in distress. Like, I'm sorry, he got himself in this situation. He can very easily take himself out if he just picks one woman and sticks to her. But he doesn't have enough balls or gumption to do so. So he's going to continue staying a pussy because that's what he's doing. And then he was just kind of framing it as like, oh, it's just so hard, man. Like, I don't know, like, they're just like, I just feel so pressured and like, it's just so overwhelming. What's overwhelming? What is overwhelming? Like, I actually cannot stand when like a man acts like it's overwhelming to make a bloody decision. You as a grown adult, like as an adult human being, you have to make decisions about shit every day. Like, I'm so sorry. It is actually so annoying. Like, all of a sudden, you don't know how to make a decision. What do you mean? Like, what do you mean? You don't know whether you like somebody or not. You're really trying to make me believe that. We fast forward now to where, after that conversation, Kevin kind of goes back to Tyler and is kind of talking about how he just feels like he's still kind of confused and he doesn't really know what he wants. Mind you, this is after he said that he's picking her. So it's kind of like, okay, now you're no longer picking her. And she's just like, okay, I can't do this. I'm over this. This is annoying. And she basically said, I need you to tell me right now that you want to marry me, or else I'm leaving tomorrow, like I'm leaving the process. He basically is just like, I don't know what to do. I really don't know, like da-da-da, whatever. She's just like, yeah, I'm over it. I'm leaving. So she leaves and he goes back to the boys' headquarters. He tells all the men what's happened. And they're just like, yo, you know, you've dodged a bullet, honestly. If she's going to treat you that way, like you've dodged a bullet. And I'm just like, respectfully, I'm not going to act like Tyler's crash out about it wasn't kind of like a bit too much, honestly. Like, you were doing too much over that Kevin guy, honestly. To frame her as like she was just being macadamia about it, like why is she so bothered and da da, it's just weird. Like, what do you mean she dodged a bullet? Like, Kevin literally doesn't know what he's doing. Like, Kevin is like when you're trying to shoot a gun but you point it towards yourself instead. Like, he doesn't even know what direction it's supposed to face. Like, do you know what I mean? And they're talking about he dodged a bullet. Like, I'm so confused. That situation anyways ends up with Kia having a conversation with Kevin, sorry. Kevin, and she basically ends it. She's just like, yeah, I just feel like you're not the person for me. I need somebody who's going to give me clarity and who, you know, knows what they're doing, basically. And he is just like kind of confused. Like, he just doesn't even really say anything in response to it. But I'm honestly glad that Kia ended that, because I'm just like, it gets to a point, like everyone else has gotten engaged and you're still talking about, I don't really know, like, I don't know. Find the know. Like, you need to know. You need to know. Next, I want to talk about Devonte and Britney, because them as a pairing really irk me, if I'm gonna be honest. It is so uncomfortable to watch these two together. Like, I just really do not like this pairing. I don't like them. I especially do not like Devonte. Britney, I think she's all right, I'm like indifferent about her. But Devonte, I don't like him. I don't like him. And he is like the final boss of the biracial light skin who is obsessed with whiteness. Like, do you know what I mean? So it is literally just painful to watch him be with this ambiguous looking Latina and try and act as if she like flipping like Big Mama or like Medea or some shit like that. Do you know what I mean? It's just really irritating to watch. Devonte was basically having a conversation. I can't even remember who was it that he was actually talking to. Honestly, I can't remember if it was, I think maybe it was at the mixer, like the honeymoon mixer. And the guys were kind of all talking to each other, and Devonte was just talking about how his typical type, you know, she's not his typical type, and how he's just used to certain kind of women, and you know, Britney isn't his type. And that's another thing that really irritates me about Devonte, is that he just constantly goes on and on about how Britney isn't his normal type. It's not my normal type. It's not a conventional situation. Da da da. This isn't usually what, like, oh my gosh, no one cares about what you usually go for on the outside. And I'm gonna be honest, my sister was saying this as well. We both feel like the kind of women that Devonte dates outside of this show, I guarantee you, majority of them, they are not mugging Britney. They're not. Because I'm sorry, Britney is a very conventionally attractive Latino woman. She has the body, she has the face, her hair is nice and long, you know, like she meets the beauty standards. So I'm so confused on like why he is acting like, you know, this is just the furthest thing possible from white. I'm like, but you probably would have a heart attack if she was dark skinned with type 4 hair. This is why Eurocentrism in general, like Eurocentric beauty standards, are actually a plague, because you are genuinely trying to tell me that this woman, literally conventionally attractive Latino woman, bodacious body, wherever, curves everywhere in the right places, you're trying to tell me that she's not good enough. Basically, that's what you are trying to tell me.
You're joking.
Mike Wazowski is trying to tell us that this light-skinned Latino woman is apparently like, yeah, she's just too, that's not. I don't think Britney has ever mentioned like her typical type or whatever. Like, she's not said none of that to Devonte ever. Like, it's never been a point of conversation for her to talk about, oh, you're not usually what I'd go for on the outside, because she's actually focused on the process and trying to build a relationship here. But this bumbling fool can go on about is how well, you're not usually what I'd go for on the outside. Like, oh my gosh, just shut up. Just shut up. Like, it's so irritating to watch, and I'm like, why is Britney even subjecting herself to this at this point? Like, this feels like self-harm. It feels like self-harm. Next, I want to talk about Connor and Brie, because they end up picking each other, or Connor chooses to end things with Emma and picks Brie instead. For the most part, I mean, to be fair, I'm gonna be honest, some parts of the pod I wasn't really paying attention to, because those episodes are usually boring. I mean, this whole season is irritating and kind of boring in general. None of the people are likable, so it's hard to pay attention. For the most part in the pods, I thought, yeah, okay, they're calm or whatever. And then now they have a conversation after the mixer, and for some reason Brie at this mixer keeps going on about how at this mixer, you know, everyone is meeting each other's exes and people who they were getting to know in the pods. And it's just kind of weird how everyone is not really like acknowledging the fact that we were all dating each other, and like we were all saying these crazy things to each other. And I understood what she was saying to a certain extent, until I realized that what she was saying was actually centered around Chris. Now, mind you, for context, Chris has picked someone else. He's engaged to Jessica. And at this point in the show, they seem to be like very cozy, happy with each other, whatever. So you've got Brie here kind of just complaining about the fact that Chris hasn't come up to her for a conversation, or he's not trying to, I don't know, bust convo and like tell her how much he misses her and something like, I don't know. Because I'm going to be honest, to me, it came across as you still have feelings for him, and it's irritating you that you don't know if he feels the same. Like, I don't know. So I was just kind of confused onto what her point was anyways of this whole, it's just weird how no one's really talking about it. I'm just like, well, you're all engaged. You're all happily engaged. What are you supposed to talk about? Everyone goes back home after the honeymoon mixer, and Bree and Connor are sitting in their apartment and they're talking, and Bree just basically tells Connor that she wants to have like further conversation with Chris, like she needs to have some sort of closure conversation with him, which I just think is weird, because what do you need to have a closure conversation for? Like, I'm sorry, you guys weren't in a relationship, you aren't engaged, like you have a person who's about to be your husband and you're talking about, oh, I need to address things or get closure with Chris. What? And then she's trying to make us not believe that it's because you still have feelings for him. Yes, it is. She kept bringing up Chris in like her conversations with Connor, because like there was a whole kind of like 10-15 minute moment or like segment of that mixer where Bree and Connor were like standing at the bar with another couple. I can't remember who it was. And Bree just kind of kept busting jokes and mentioning Chris randomly. And like, oh, our exes are here, our exes are here. And you can see on Connor's face how he's like, he's not fucking with it. Like, he don't find it funny. Like, he's like, what are you talking about? Like, because it's just weird. It's like you're the only person there who is still talking about their ex. Like, no one gives a fuck. No one actually cares. Everyone's here with the fiancés. Like, why do you care about this? And she basically says that she wants to have another like catch up with him, because she does end up speaking to Chris at the mixer, and it's basically her talking about the fact that Chris, I can't remember what the comment was that she made. I think it's because Chris does like some sort of sport. I can't remember if it was snowboarding or something like that. And she was just basically talking about, oh, well, you know, Connor doesn't do that, da da da. And she was kind of making certain jokes that's just like, you're a bit too comfortable. Like, I'm not gonna lie, why are you kikiing with somebody who you thought you could be your husband or whatever, someone who you're dating basically, or your talking stage, whatever? Why are you kikiing about your fiance with him? Like, it's just a bit weird. Like, I don't know. So now let's get back to Devonte and Britney. So basically at the mixer, you can see that cracks are starting to show in their relationship. Everyone also at this mixer was talking about how they've all like been having sex and how, you know, their sex lives are great and whatever. And Britney basically says how her and Devonte are the only couple who haven't had sex yet. And she was saying that she told Devonte that, you know, like, if you want to, like, we can, like, you can initiate things, whatever. Basically just like giving him that green light in case, you know, to rule out that whole, or maybe he doesn't know if she's comfortable yet. So she's like, yeah, I'm ready for like that level of intimacy if you want it. And he just doesn't really do anything with that. She doesn't do anything, he doesn't do anything, like they just haven't had sex. And basically at the mixer, there's a part where they're all in the pool and Devonte is like in this floaty, like this circle floaty, and I think they're like, we're doing Never Have I Ever or something like that, or Truth or Drink, I don't know. And then I think somebody said Never Have I Ever Gotten a Hickey. And then Britney, I can't remember if Britney drank or whatever. A few people drank. Devonte didn't. And then Britney was like, oh, Devonte, you've never had a hickey before. And then he's like, no. And then she's like, oh, I can give you your first one, you know, kind of trying to like do playful flirting. And he's like, no, I don't want a hickey. And it was just weird. I'm like, why would you do that in front of everybody? It was just like, I'm sorry, the concept of being embarrassed or publicly humiliated by Devonte. Like, I'm sorry, this is a humiliation ritual. Britney, is this your humiliation ritual? Because it was actually irritating me. I'm like, this is actually physically hurting me to watch this. I cannot watch this. Like, it was so bad. It was so bad. From that point on, for the rest of the mixer, he was avoiding her like the plague. Like, literally, would not try to touch her, did not come to check up on her, chat to her, nothing. And then there was a part where Devonte was speaking to one of the other men in the pool, and he was basically just talking about how he's been trying to say to Britney that he needs more space and whatever, or like, I just don't want to talk right now, and she doesn't get that, and like he was just like laughing about it, and it's just like, it's so weird. Like, are you okay? Like, are you okay? Like, I'm sorry, do you really think we're buying this bullshit of you talking about, oh yeah, I just don't want to speak to my fiance? You guys are barely interacting and he's talking about, oh yeah, it's just because I just need space, I just don't want to talk right now. Oh my gosh, I cannot stand a man that has 10,000 different excuses to avoid saying I don't like you. Like, it's so annoying. Just say you don't like her. Like, I don't know, like, if these people are so desperate for screen time, because Devonte, you're not interesting. You're not coming across as like a entertaining or funny character, whatever. You're not even like a funny villain. You're just irritating. You're irritating. It's not fun to watch you. You're not that nice to look at. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just like you're pissing everybody off, and I don't get what your ploy is here. I really don't. What clout is it that you're supposed to gain from this? No one wants to see you. Like, you're literally not what the fans want to see. Like, you're not what the fans want to see.
That's not what the fans want to see. That's literally what the fans don't want to see.
So if you don't like her, tell her that and free us all from this torment. Like, seriously, it's so irritating. But yeah, it's like he's trying so hard to avoid saying you're not white or you're not blonde and that's a problem for me. You're not a blonde white girl and it's a problem for me. Like, we know you like Cravendale, bro. We know you like Cravendale. Just be honest about it. Just say that you're not attracted to her and keep it pushing. Like, it's so annoying that he keeps trying to beat around the bush, whatever, and Britney is like giving him the benefit of the doubt. No, he's making excuses because he's too pussy to admit the truth. The truth is obvious. Like, it's just obvious. He doesn't like you. He doesn't want you. At the mixer also, there was a part where Alex came to pull Britney for a conversation, which I thought was strange because it's like, why is everyone kind of treating this show like it's Love Island or something? Like, you are all here to allegedly get married. So I don't know why you're at this mixer trying to chat to other people's fiancés, but whatever. He pulls Britney for a conversation and essentially just starts talking to her, bussing convo about how Ashley is not his typical type, which kind of gagged me because I was like, the way that Ashley was talking, she was like, oh, he was fucking me all over the apartment, like da 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 on the sofa or whatever, like we were going for hours. I'm like, okay, so he can't get enough of you, he's loving it, da da da. And then he's telling Britney, oh yeah, she's not really my typical type, like, you know, she's not usually what I'd go for, and like I'm kind of struggling with that. And he was just basically saying to Britney how, like, you're basically my type, like, what I'd go for on the outside, like, I find you very attractive, whatever. And I'm just like, why are you telling her that? And then he kind of used the whole Devonte not being attracted to her as a buffer to kind of start the conversation. He was like, oh yeah, I think we can both relate to how we're not typically attracted to our partners, like they're not our types. And I'm just like, you think you're slick. Like, you think you're slick. We know what you're doing. We know your game. Yeah. And it's just weird in general as a man for you to be talking to another woman who is apparently your type on paper and everything, another woman who you're attracted to, telling her about how your fiance isn't what you're usually attracted to. Like, why does she need to know that? Like, because I'm saying I didn't see or hear prior to this scene that Alex and Britney had like some kind of friendship or whatever. So it just feels extra shady that he would go to her of all people to say this. I don't know. It just felt like he was kind of trying to temperature check to see if Britney would possibly be open to like some kind of like fiance swap situation, which is just ridiculous. Obviously everyone has returned back home from the mixer, as I was saying before, and Devonte and Britney is very frosty between them. They basically aren't even saying anything to each other, and Devonte is sitting outside like on a balcony or whatever, and Britney comes to sit down next to him because I don't know, they just haven't really spoken to each other at all since they got back from the mixer, or even when they were at the mixer. And Britney basically just talks about the fact that she feels like there's been distance between them, they're just not really like communicating, and how she just feels like things are feeling weird and whatever. And Devonte basically just gaslit the hell out of her. Like, she was even talking about how they've not been intimate, there's just like no sort of physical touch or anything like that, no affection whatsoever, and he's just become very cold. And he gaslit the hell out of her. Like, seriously. He was like trying to, like, this man, when I tell you, and I'm not exaggerating, he tried to avoid Britney at all costs. At all costs, literally. Wherever he could, he would find a way to avoid her. If she woke up at a certain time, okay, I'll wake up 2 hours earlier so I don't have to see her in the morning. I'm gonna go out right as soon as I finish getting ready in the morning and just stay out until, you know, whatever, so I don't have to say good morning to her. Like, those kind of things. It's just like, You guys are barely interacting. Like, she was literally saying majority of the time, like majority of the day, she'll spend the day alone because he's not there. So he's only in the apartment for like 2 hours out of the day, and during those times, or those 2 hours, he's saying, oh, I need space, I need space. You've already physically been out of our space, so what do you mean you need space? Like at that point, it's just reading that you don't even want me in your space, which, Britney, I don't know how you're still not getting this at this point. He's finding every excuse to say, I don't want you around me. And then he brought up the fact that, yeah, I've got things on my mind because, you know, my grandpa, he passed away. And Britney was trying to say that she's dealt with her grandma passing away last year, so she understands. So she really doesn't get why Devonte is trying to gaslight her about this. Oh yeah, I just need space, you just wouldn't understand, da da da. Just basically going on to gaslight. That's how those episode 6 ended. And bro, these couples are just a bloody mess. They are a bloody mess. I do not like a single one. I don't like a single one. I liked Chris and Jessica, but you'll find out why I no longer like them, because Chris, you're a raggedy hoe. Like, bro, everybody in this cast, go home. Go home. Like, I'm sorry. You lot need to be on some like right-wing dating app or something instead. I don't know why you come on the show. Like, literally, I don't know why any of them are on this show. Nobody is likable. No one is likable. That's my first review of episodes 1 to 6 of Love is Blind season 10. Let me know your thoughts down below if you even have any. I lose interest every season. Like, as each season comes out, I lose less and less interest in this show. Like, seriously, I think it's gonna get to a point where I'm just gonna be like, I'm not even watching the show no more. I'm not making a review, nothing. Like, I'm over it, because it's literally just nothing but a dud fest, like every single season. Like, there's not a single decent individual here. Ugh. Some of them, there's like probably 2 couples that I didn't even talk about because they're just that boring, or like I have nothing to say. But yeah, it's a mess. Anyways, I'm gonna end this video though because I've been filming for almost 50 minutes. I hope you lot enjoyed the video. Like the video if you enjoyed the video. Turn on my post notifications as well. Subscribe if you're new to my channel. Turn on post notifications so that you don't miss a post from me. And I'll see you lot next week for my reviews on episodes 7 to 10. Bye y'all!